from where I...
Good afternoon, folks. After that horrible snow experience, I'm getting ready to put together one of my favorite comfort foods of all time, which is chili. This is what I grew up on. Now, I've made a number of chili recipes on my YouTube channel. I've made green chili, I've made white chili, and I made the chili that I used in my cook-offs. That may not be, and there's no beans in that, but the chili that I'm making today is chili con carne with beans. So I'm going to show you how I make my homemade chili that I eat probably once or twice a month, and I love this stuff. Alright, what we've taken is a cup and a half of kidney beans. Now these are not the dark kidney beans, these are the light red kidney beans, and we've soaked these overnight. So we're going to start out by cooking the beans first. Now I've got these in a couple cups of water. We're going to bring this up to a slow boil for about an hour and a half until these beans are nice and tender. Alright, these light kidney beans have been on a slow rolling boil for about an hour and a half. And I would imagine they're just about tender, but not quite tender yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to prep up the meat. In a separate pan here, I've taken the liberty to put in 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. And to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. When I make my chili, I like to use a 1585 blend of beef to fat, and I use what they call chili meat. And this is just a rougher cut than what you find with regular ground beef. And I think it gives the chili a little extra pizzazz. Right there is a 1 3/4 pounds worth of your ground chili meat. It's beef. It's beef. That's all it is. Now you can admit or leave out this next ingredients, but this is one of the quintessential parts to my homemade chili recipe. Is 3 chopped up poblano peppers. You could substitute a bell pepper if you wanted to, or you can leave it out entirely if you do not like peppers. But I find this to be mandatory. And then along with that, I'm going to put in 1 white onion, and I'm going to chop this up fairly finely. When you see this when it's done, all these vegetables kind of melt down to nothing, and they just add some flavor to the overall mix. And we can take this stuff here, start breaking up this meat. We'll brown this off. Get some of the now we're going to start spicing this up, because I want this spice to really get in deep with the chili. And I do like my chili hot, so you may want to adjust your seasoning mix on this. I go with 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, and then I go with about 3/4, believe it or not, of cumin. And make sure you check your cumin, because this stuff loses its potency quite quickly. Not too much, but 3/4 of a tablespoon for this size of a batch. Then, if you've not had the opportunity to watch my homemade chili powder video, might be a good time to do such. If not, any chili powder of reasonable quality would do, and I put a lot in there. I would say close to about 5 tablespoons to flavor this up real nice. Just a smidge more. Garlic powder. Even though I use regular garlic in my competition, I always use both. And then I finish this off to give it an extra kick with some ground chipotle pepper. And I put in about a tablespoon and a half of that. So we've got a lot going on here as far as actual chili spices. So we'll brown this meat off, really get these flavors infused in here, and then we're gonna come back when we have this browned off, drained off. Alright, the aromas coming off this chili are incredible. I remember as a kid, my mom used to cook up something called 3-alarm chili, and apparently if you put all their spice packets in there, it'd melt the spoon. Now, this stuff's going to be hot enough when I'm done, it might melt the pot. But the next step here is I'm going to put in a 14.5 can of petite cut tomatoes. I don't like the way that sounds, but anyway, that goes into my chili. Gives me a nice distribution of the tomatoes into this. Now, if you're using canned beans and you don't want to go all through the trouble of using the dry beans, you're going to definitely have to use a little bit of salt. There is some salt in that tomato, but there's none in the meat or the onions or the beans. So I salt this now because if you salt the beans, it really makes them quite tough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to return the broth and our light red kidney beans to our chili mix. And this is key, folks, is now we're going to put the lid back on this and let this slow cook and let all the flavors infuse into this chili for about another hour and a half. And when that's done, these peppers and onions are going to cook down to almost nothing. So we'll be back. Alright, there folks is the finished homemade Ball Chef's comfort food chili. Real spicy, maybe a little greasy, but oh so good. Alright folks, there it is, the completed version of the Ball Chef's homemade chili. With these homemade beans, all these spices infused, slow cooked, a little bit of Monterey Jack cheese on top. Man, this is going to be good. Look at that. Wow. That is going to be something else. Cheese is melting on there. Dried beans really make this chili something special. Some kind of good. Hey, it's Glenn the Ball Chef. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, give me a like. If you don't, tell me why. And as always, bon appetit.